All right, guys, welcome to today's episode. It's an Ask Me Anything. So if you want your questions answered on this episode, leave a comment under any of our YouTube videos. We'll be checking them, and we're just gonna dive into a bunch of commonly asked questions that I get, giving you guys the answers. So it's gonna be a range of topics right here. So let's dive in. Okay, first question is citrulline a safe supplement? The answer is absolutely yes. Citrulline is a really good supplement to take overall. It's gonna enhance nitric oxide production, and that's gonna give you that blood flow, that pump that you're looking for. There's a lot of studies on citrulline. I think it's a really safe compound to take. Now, as far as dosage, I like 4 to 6 grams, and you do wanna be able to take some lysine, because if your citrulline lysine balance, also known as your arginine lysine balance, is thrown off too much, you might wanna watch out for that. But overall, citrulline is really good. What would I say is the most essential supplement is another question. So first of all, what I would say is don't take supplements unless you're training hard, you're sleeping right, and you have some good nutrition coming in. The next supplement that I would say is the most essential one is vitamin D3. If your vitamin D levels are low, or if you live in an area where it's cloudy a lot, you're not getting total body sun exposure, your vitamin D levels are gonna be low. You should go get your labs checked, but if your vitamin D levels are low, vitamin D3 can be the single most impactful supplement you can take for hormonal health, immune health, skin health, gut health. Vitamin D3 is the most important supplement. All right, the next question is about shower filters, asking what is the best affordable shower filter? So what you wanna look for is on Amazon, you just wanna find a shower filter that filters chlorine. I use my buddy's company, Organic Jaguar, but they're definitely not the most affordable shower filter, but they filter out a lot of stuff. So you just need to find one mainly that filters chlorine. You don't need like these ones that remineralize the water and all this type of stuff. You just want to make sure that it filters chlorine. That's going to be really key because that's what's drying out your hair, skin, and some municipalities chlorinate their water a lot. So you really want to be careful about that. Okay, the next question is about flour replacement. What would I replace flour with in like a recipe for pancakes, waffles, stuff like that? So, I mean, honestly, the first thing that I would like to do, and if it's ideal, is use protein powder. You can use protein powder. You can make protein pancakes. You can make protein waffles. There's a lot of good recipes that use protein powder instead of flour. But my next option would probably be coconut flour, almond flour, or rice flour are the 3 that I like to use. So if you're baking something and you want it like a gluten-free option, those are the best. Rice flour does bake a little bit like dry, so you want to be careful about that. Just make sure you add like fat and eggs if you're making a recipe with rice flour. But yeah, those 3 right there would be my go-to. The next question is about my cardio regime. What do I do for cardio? So the main thing I do for cardio is Jiu Jitsu. I mean, that's really where I get most of my cardio in. Whenever I go to Jiu Jitsu practice, it's usually gonna be 30 to 40, sometimes 50 minutes of hard cardio. So that's really where I get most of my cardio from. The other way I get cardio is from the Aerodyne bike. I have an Aerodyne bike back here, which is one of those ones with the big handles, and I get on that thing and I'll do some steady state cardio, maybe 20 minutes of that, maybe a 10-minute sort of sprint. And the other thing I do is walking. Walking is oftentimes just overlooked as like, oh, you're just going on a walk. And obviously, it's not that hard. It's definitely like a lower level of cardio. But if you just go on a nice long walk or a long hike especially, you're going to get some good cardio gains out of that. And yeah, and then the other thing I do is sauna. When you sit in a sauna, it stimulates your cardio. You actually get benefits to your cardio system by just chilling in a sauna, which is so cool to think about because it is honestly pretty easy to do. I mean, shit, not the saunas that I do. Like I sit in a sauna at 190, 185 to 190, and I do 20 to 25 minutes. It's kind of brutal at the end, but that also stimulates cardio. The next question is about my workout split. How do I, balance jiu-jitsu and weightlifting? It sort of varies week to week. What I like to do is get 4 good weightlifting sessions in per week and 2 good jiu-jitsu days in per week. So that's sort of how I've been managing it. Obviously throw other stuff in there. If I'm feeling good, I'll get on the Aerodyne bike and I'll do some cardio here. Sometimes I'll hit a certain muscle group that I feel like is lagging behind, but that's generally my workout split. It's Monday is shoulders and arms, Tuesday is lower body, quad focused, Wednesday usually is jiu-jitsu, Thursday is gonna be push-pull upper body, Friday is gonna be jiu-jitsu, Saturday is maybe gonna be leg glute focused, Sunday's rest. That's what I've been doing lately. Okay, this question is, what does Brendan think about bacon and pork? Do I eat pork? Do I eat bacon? Let's get into it. So, Pork and bacon, the reason that you don't see me eating those as often as I eat grass-fed, grass-finished beef is the amino acid profile is pretty similar, you know, like you're not gonna have some crazy different amino acid profile between the meats, but the difference is in the fatty acid content. So in this country, we feed pigs corn and soy, and what that does, it's gonna raise that omega-6 linoleic acid content of that meat. And that's something I'm trying to minimize a bit. And pigs are just kind of dirty animals. They'll eat whatever, they'll eat corn, soy, and they'll be fine. So people really fatten them up off corn and soy in this country. So if I can find really high quality pork, like I got some from Stemple Creek Ranch, if you want to try it, use the code Santa Cruz, Stemple Creek. But that's like high quality pork right there. And I'm gonna make some carnitas with that. So I try to not eat pork or bacon more than like once every other week, honestly. Okay, this question is, who the heck is Brendan? That's a almost mystical question. Who is Brendan? I'm just a normal guy trying to find the answers for health and wellness and trying to make you feel better. I genuinely, if you know me in my personal life, I genuinely care about the health of everybody around me. And I know that people can usually feel way better than they feel if they're not into health and wellness at all. And I think that's really the crazy thing for a lot of people. They think working out's hard. They think feeling good's hard or maybe unattainable. And when they do some of the basic things that I talk about, they can sort of just feel amazing and feel their best. And I get hundreds and hundreds of DMs from people saying, hey, I've started eating like you, and you know, this change, I feel better, I look better. That is what I'm going for. That is what I care about above all. So the next question is, do I track calories and macros? Currently, I do not, but tracking calories is an extremely valid tool if you're trying to gain weight or lose weight. I think it's less of a valid tool if you're trying to gain weight. You can sort of just eat in a calorie surplus and just eat a lot, and you'll know, judging on the scale, if you're gaining weight, obviously, or maintaining. If you are trying to lose weight, you should know generally how many calories you are consuming per day and sort of get a barometer of the different foods that you eat and how many calories they have, because you do want to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. Now, I think it's way easier to do when eating nutrient-dense foods because of the cognitive function, the hormonal function, your immune function, all of that type of stuff is directly related to the food quality. So yeah, I don't currently track calories, but I have in the past, and it is a very valid tool. The next question is about the study that came out about erythritol and heart attacks. What does Brendan think about that? So first of all, we don't use erythritol in any of our products. I've never been a big fan of it because it's usually from GMO corn. So it's like a corn sweetener, and I've never really been a big fan of that. But we've seen a lot of scientists, Dr. Lane Norton, we've even seen videos like Dr. Id's video sort of debunking the study, and I think the points that they make are valid. There wasn't a lot of people in the study, and they used a lot of erythritol. So I'm not in some panic about erythritol, but it's often added to these fake healthy keto foods where they're like, oh, let's make this keto food taste like extremely sweet. I'm not a big fan of that. I'm not a big fan of artificial sweeteners in general. So yeah, I'm not a fan of erythritol, but that study is a little sensational. Okay, the next question is Jiu Jitsu or wrestling, which one is better? So for actual like self-defense and fighting, wrestling is better than Jiu Jitsu. If you are a beast wrestler, you're gonna have, a better chance in any sort of fight. It's an amazing, very tough martial art. I think if you're young and in high school or middle school, you should do wrestling. If your school has a wrestling program, go do wrestling. Now, here's why I think Jiu-Jitsu overall is better. Jiu-Jitsu is something you can do for a long period of your life. Wrestling is brutal. You're starting out on the feet, you're returning to the mat over and over again. I'm getting older, I'm 30 years old. I'm gonna go to Jiu-Jitsu tonight, and I had a long week, I'm sort of tired. I'm gonna slap hands with people, and I'm gonna pull guard, which means I sit to my butt. I'm gonna be doing a lot of guard pulling tonight because I'm tired. You are able to go to Jiu-Jitsu and sort of have fun, try different things, play around. The community is way more relaxed than wrestling. So wrestling is amazing, but overall, for just longevity and life, I would recommend doing Jiu-Jitsu. Okay, the next question is, Brendan, what is your opinion on kava? So kava is traditionally used for relaxation, and it's oftentimes used in Polynesian countries, popularized it because they drink kava tea. Kava does have some alkaloids in it that have a lot of studies behind them that show that it can reduce cortisol, help with sleep. Now, personally, I've tried kava before. I like it, but it felt a little like too strong, if that makes any sense. And, Tim Ferriss has said there's no biological free lunch, and it got me really thinking, wow, this stuff is sort of strong. It's not really something that I'd want to use every day, much like microdosing or something like that. You might not want to do that every single day of your life, but there are some benefits to kava. There's kava bars popping up where people are using kava instead of alcohol. I think that's really cool, but it's not something that I'd really add into my daily supplement regimen. Okay, this question is asking marijuana compared to alcohol, which do I think is worse? Definitely alcohol is worse for you than marijuana. Now, both those substances can be definitely abused, and I think they're oftentimes abused. What I mean by that is there are studies showing that people that use marijuana a few times per week have some higher rates of anxiety, have some cognitive decline, and the same goes for alcohol. Less actual gray matter in your brain, less volume of your brain, even if you only have 2 or 3 drinks a week. So I think they both have actual downsides, but they also both have upsides for just having fun. Like, let's be real. So what I want you to understand is neither of these substances are really good for you in any way, but cannabis is definitely going to be less damaging than alcohol. That's what all the research, that's what all the studies show. Now, sure, do them sometimes if you want, like have fun, live your life, but don't think that either of these substances are really healthy or some panacea for health. I enjoy them here and there, but if you are using them every single day or relying on them, you need to stop that and, rely on natural sources of dopamine. And then if occasionally you want to have a drink or a little toke, it's fine. All right, guys, those are some questions that we dived into. Leave comments on my YouTube and subscribe, and I will get to your comments. So we're gonna do these AMAs hopefully once a week. I'll dive in a bit deeper on some of those topics. And yeah, thank you for subscribing. Thank you for listening. Appreciate you. I gotta go to jiu-jitsu practice. I'm gonna be late. Peace.